Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're looking at something we literally all interact with every single day, but we probably never stop to question it, the calendar. For most of us, right, a calendar is just this rigid grid, a strict march from Monday to Friday. But what if I told you that in another part of the world, a simple quirk in that calendar isn't just some annoying scheduling conflict, but an actual opportunity? Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to unpack a fascinating practice from Brazil that completely transforms how we think about time, rest, and the whole rhythm of our lives. It's the Brazilian art of the long weekend. To really wrap your head around this, I want you to imagine your own schedule for just a second. Picture a standard working month, right? And a national holiday happens to land smack in the middle of the week, say a Tuesday or maybe a Thursday. For most of us, that's actually kind of incredibly awkward. If it's a Tuesday, you've got to drag yourself into work on Monday, knowing full well you have the next day off, only to completely restart your work week all over again on Wednesday. It's a disruption. It totally breaks your flow. You get this fragmented stop-and-start week where you can't really fully relax, but you can't really fully focus either. But in Brazil, they look at that exact same Tuesday or Thursday holiday and see something entirely different. So instead of this clunky, fragmented week, that midweek calendar quirk actually forms the foundation for a massive, beloved national tradition. It's called Feriadão. When a holiday falls on a weekday, especially those weird Tuesdays or Thursdays we just talked about, Brazilians don't just endure the disruption. No, they seize it. They take that extra day, like the Monday right before a Tuesday holiday, or the Friday after a Thursday one, and they just attach it to the weekend. It is literally an art form of maximizing downtime. They're turning what would normally be just a single isolated day of rest into this massive, continuous block of time off.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the very specific cultural vocabulary they use to describe this action, emendar feriados. In English, that translates perfectly to bridging holidays. I mean, I absolutely love this visual. Think about it. You aren't just calling in sick or skipping work. You're actively building a bridge over that one isolated workday to connect the holiday straight to the weekend. And it's so crucial to understand here, this isn't just some sneaky life hack pulled off by a few people. This is a deeply ingrained custom in the culture. It's the expected, totally anticipated rhythm of the entire Brazilian year.
Let's actually break down how this builds, step by step, because honestly, the math here is just brilliant if you love having time off. Walk mentally through the calendar with me. Step 1. You have that isolated holiday landing on, let's say, a Thursday. Normally, just a one-day break. Step 2. You apply the custom of emendar feriados, and you take Friday off. Boom, you've built the bridge. Step 3. You now have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday completely free. By strategically taking just one single extra day, you've manifested a glorious 4-day extended weekend. It's pretty much the ultimate return on investment for your vacation days.
And this brings us to what might be the most fascinating part of this whole concept. Because, in a lot of work cultures, taking that random Friday off might be heavily frowned upon. You'd have to whisper to your colleagues, invent some wild excuse, or do the whole secretly calling in sick routine. But not in Brazil. Down there, society itself actually adapts. The entire system recognizes that this extended break is happening, and rather than fighting against it, the culture completely embraces it as a collective, well-deserved pause. It's not just an individual thing, it's a full societal effort to accommodate our basic human desire for rest.
Just to prove exactly how ingrained this is, let's look at the actual logistics. This is how the country's infrastructure practically bends to anticipate these opportunities. In the business sector, they don't just rigidly enforce the Friday workday, they proactively offer flexible schedules. Look at schools. They'll often just make those bridge days optional workdays. And maybe most telling of all, even government offices frequently get in on the action. They'll simply declare those bridge days as official extra holidays. The entire country essentially aligns to make sure people can take this time off without an ounce of guilt or penalty.
So, when a whole country builds a bridge to a 4-day weekend, what exactly do they do with all that time? Well, they escape. These long weekends become the absolute perfect catalyst for short getaways. Entire families will pack up their cars and head out to these beautiful, sun-drenched beaches. They'll wander through beautifully preserved historic towns, or they'll seek out a little peace and quiet in a countryside retreat. And honestly, sometimes the most perfect way to spend a feriado is just staying right at home, gathering your favorite people, and throwing an amazing backyard barbecue. The specific location, that's secondary. The true priority is just making the absolute most of the downtime together. Which really brings us to the core of why this matters so much. It's easy to look at this on the surface and just see people scoring some extra days off work, but it goes way deeper than that. So the crucial point is perfectly captured in this exact quote straight from our source material. Feriadões are a reflection of a culture that values work-life balance and cherishes moments of joy and togetherness. Really think about that for a second. This little calendar quirk, it's a physical manifestation of a profound cultural priority. It is a society collectively agreeing that the relentless day-to-day grind of work should occasionally take a backseat to joy, to family, and to simply being together.
Now, if digging into this explainer is giving you a sudden urge to experience this magic firsthand, I've got a very practical takeaway for you. If you're ever planning a trip to Brazil, don't just book random dates. Pull up their national calendar first. Try to actually align your trip with one of these extended holidays. Because witnessing a feriado in person, seeing those beaches fill up, and watching the cities completely transform as everyone embraces the bridge, it'll give you such an incredible glimpse into this unique, joyful tradition. And hey, a huge thank you to teachers from Brazil for providing this source material and all these wonderful cultural insights today.
As we wrap up the explainer today, I actually want to turn the lens back on you. We've just explored a culture that systematically builds bridges to guarantee rest and togetherness. So I'll leave you with this question. How do you prioritize your own downtime? Are you treating your calendar like this rigid, unyielding master, or are you actively looking for your own ways to build bridges, find a little balance, and create more moments of joy in your own life? It's definitely something to chew on the next time a holiday lands on a random Tuesday. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.